Now, here's the problem. What sounds good on these, and what sounds good on these, and what sounds good on that, all completely different. I'm having a bit of an existential crisis about this, actually, because we all know that most people don't listen to music or tutorials or sample packs or whatever we're making, or TV shows. Most people don't listen on expensive headphones or expensive monitors. Most people listen on cheap speakers, such as laptops, in their car, on their television, or on a little portable speaker type thing, or possibly at the club, which is chairs making noises. And the club is certainly a lot closer to the laptop than the headphones or the monitors over there. Oh, they are beautiful. Look at those, the A7Xs. Oh, there's so much nuance to this. My brain's going to explode, but let me dive in. So, story time. So I tend to do most of my productions, whether it's mixing, mastering, sound design, or even songwriting sometimes. I do most of my stuff with these HD 650s, the Sennheisers. Well, I bumped into the cable there. The Sennheisers, which for all intents and purposes are the best, somewhat affordable studio headphones. I mean, short of spending $1,000 or $2,000 or $3,000 on some OD's headphones, you're not really going to get any better than this. Now, the problem with this is almost everything sounds bad. Now, I'm not exaggerating, but especially after I've been producing a few years, almost everything has imperfections in. So much so that it becomes almost hard to choose anything. And in fact, it gets worse than that. Oftentimes, I'll skip over the best samples, looking for this elusive, perfectly best, but also clean sample. But the problem is so few samples are clean that I'm not actually choosing the best samples. I mean, the extreme case would be vocal one-shots. Oftentimes, I won't choose the best vocal one-shot, I'll choose the cleanest vocal one-shot, as the most exciting one-shot may have all this imperfection. Maybe there's some mouth noise or some distortion or a weird pop or a weird click or some rumble, or, I mean, all this stuff is fixable, but it still puts me off. And as much as I try to avoid this, it inevitably happens. And this happens across the board. Hearing the imperfections just takes the edge off sometimes. I mean, so much so that I can't actually enjoy music with these. I can't listen to music through these. I mean, I can analyze music with them, but I can't fundamentally enjoy it, which is, it's completely mad. Almost every single track, especially every successful track in the entire world right now, basically sounds bad through these. It's very, very frustrating. It's the bane of my existence. It's the bane of my life. It's great to hear those details, but I mean, how important is it? I just don't know. I mean, I spend most of my time, well, not most of my time, but a big percentage of my time aiming to improve the music space, the music world. So tidying up imperfections and just all around trying to improve fidelity. Because I mean, as you can hear through these, most music is just full of mistakes. There's distortions and discontinuity clicks and weird resonances and all sorts of alias. But the irony is most people just can't hear it. I mean, you just can't hear that stuff with a laptop speaker, for example. You just can't. Sometimes I just don't know what to do, because I mean, it almost makes sense, kind of. I'm not saying this, but it to some extent makes sense. It makes more sense to not have good speakers and not hear what's going on. It's almost so hard to say. That I'm not saying this, by the way. I'm just thinking out loud because I'm having an existential crisis right now. As most people don't hear music in high quality, does it really make sense to even consider it? Do the sentence. Does it even make sense to consider it? Because, okay, I'll explain why now in the second half of this point. The things that sound best through good headphones are not the same things that sound best on laptop speakers. I'll say it again because it's the most important point here. So independent of the rant, you should absorb this knowledge. The things that sound best through good quality headphones are not the same things that sound best through laptop speakers. And so whilst, yes, you can sometimes translate, so you can listen in quote unquote perfect quality or very, very high quality and almost imagine how that's going to sound on laptop speakers by translating what you're hearing in your head as you're listening. Whilst you can do that, and it's what I generally do, it's difficult, and sometimes you make mistakes, and sometimes you have to chair, and sometimes you get distracted, and sometimes you almost miss the point. I mean, as I say, I literally will sometimes not use a sample because I can hear a mistake through these that I can't fix. But even though I should know that people can't hear it, it still puts me off. It's really frustrating. I mean, I can tell myself that people won't hear that imperfection or that weird flap or that discontinuity click. But if I can hear it, it just it ends up making, it just leaves me with a really unsatisfied feeling about what I'm creating. If I can see the mistakes and hear the mistakes, as much as I can try and tell myself that no one can hear them, it's not a problem, it really takes the edge off. And I think I might even, it's almost like I think I would enjoy producing more on a set of laptop speakers, or maybe some cheap speakers, but I mean, or it's certainly more enjoyable producing on monitors than headphones. You can hear much more detailed headphones than monitors, but it's undeniably more enjoyable generally to produce on monitors and not headphones. But then here's the other bit that's sort of causing my brain to implode and explode, sort of melt right now. The best sounds through these are not the same sounds that sound the best through these. And so it's not like you can basically make the perfect sound through headphones and then just know it will sound great everywhere else. It's if you make the sound perfect through headphones, it's not going to be perfect here. In fact, there's a good chance it's pretty awful. And that's very frustrating because it means, really broadly, because it means you basically can't make a perfect track. It will always sound good in some situations and bad in others. There is no such thing as making a track sound perfect or amazing or as good as possible. Diplo, as good as possible in every situation on every playback device. It doesn't exist. And it's very frustrating because it's a lot. Sometimes I just want to throw it all out the window. Go away, good quality. I want to just produce bad quality. Sounds mad, but it's not far from the truth. It's a strange irony, but I think it's an important thing to think about, and certainly something to think about if you're considering making a big investment in something like this. I mean, for lots of people, splashing out some money on some expensive monitors or some expensive headphones or even some more expensive monitors than these is going to be a big deal. I mean, some people take out big loans. It's just something to think about and something to really internalize, that high quality monitors and high quality headphones don't solve all your problems, and they, to some extent, cause brand new problems. Oh, I went the wrong way with the focus. But multiplier, what's the problem? Can't you just sometimes use these and sometimes use those and sometimes use that? Yeah, that's basically what I do. Yeah, but then even more broadly speaking, I should use 3 or 4 other sets of playback devices as well, because it's not just limited to these. It's a whole general concept that's very, very frustrating. It's certainly something to think about if you like enjoying music more than creating or hearing things in the best fidelity. Because I'm not sure if I'm properly going to say this, but I think there's a good argument to be made that you will enjoy music more with bad speakers, or at least, let's be a bit more precise. Not necessarily bad speakers, but just not the most highest fidelity, detailed, accurate, quote-unquote, representation of what you're making. I mean, you hear a lot more details with these than these, and you zoom, and you hear a lot more detail with these than that. For my other studio monitors, which are cheaper, it's a spectrum. It's also a multi-dimensional spectrum. You get the idea. It's a sort of a spectrumy vibe. In the headphones, you hear the most detail, and simplistically, the more expensive the set of speakers or headphones is, the better fidelity it is too. Grrr, grrr. That's how I feel about this situation. Grrr. I also really love them. I was trying to sit differently on the chair. I do really love them. I'm not complaining. I mean, I am complaining, but not about these. I'm not dissing you, headphones or monitors. I love you. I love you. It's more of a general statement on high quality things, being able to sort of hear the details, hear imperfections. And I'm sure this applies to many walks of life. I'm sure once you're a cooking expert, you can't go to a cheap restaurant without disliking it because your tastes are better, or you can basically taste more details, and that means you can't enjoy stuff in a way that you probably could do before. That makes sense. That analogy is close-ish. It's not even that close, actually. Ignore that. Can't think of another one. What's that? Multiplier's gone and done a video complaining about something. Who would have thought that? But there are actually insights in here too, so it's almost like it's a double whammy. It was a sandwich. It's a rant and knowledge sandwich / side of insights with sprinkles, rainbow sprinkles. Wait a minute. Oh, bumped into the... Look at this, everybody. Look at this, everybody. You ready for this? You ready for this? Do you want to see my new musical instrument? We're doing music. Do you want to see my new musical instrument? It's a shaker. Wait, wait, wait. It's a shaker, but it's actually multicolored unicorns. Sprinkles. Oh, I'm trying to focus and also be somewhat in line with the mic. It's difficult. Not sponsored by Tesco, but Tesco, feel free to send more multicolored. Not more. I bought these from a shop with pounds. £1 or £2, can't remember. Multicolored unicorn sprinkles. Excellent. Knowledge. Catch you guys on the flippity flip. Ah, I can't even get it in focus. Catch you guys on the unicorns.